there about 10 years, and both of their sons died, so that the woman was left without her sons and without her husband. Can you imagine? But let me tell you how bad it had gotten. In the last verse of the book of Judges, the very last verse in Judges 21, verse 25, here's what it says. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. When there was a void of godly leadership, a time of godly worship, and instead of following God and His commands, they just followed themselves. So they decided for themselves what was right and what was wrong. That's even happening today in our society right before our eyes. My wife and I yesterday, we ran into a couple that told us about an autism conference that was held right here in Somerset over the week. And they said that when you went through the door and you wrote your name, you had a choice of cards to write your name on. And in that, you could choose he or she or they or it, whatever you wanted to be known as. And the gist of the conference was that STUVW movement. Our society is becoming more and more pagan. And we have another shooting this weekend in a synagogue in California. People died. A man come in, young man, to shoot people that worship God. To shoot. Listen, I know you all notice that we have a security ministry here. We have to have. And I want to thank them today. Do you help me do that? This weekend it was a synagogue in California. Last weekend it was in Sri Lanka. Easter Sunday worshipers attacked, left more than 250 dead by suicide bombers, 500 injured, over 500 injured. But this was a time in Israel's history where everybody did what was right in their own eyes. And from the time that the people of Israel knew God and followed God until the time that they turned away from their faith, you know how long it took? 2 generations. 2 generations. Wow. Did you know that if we do not engage our culture today, this generation could be the generation that moves away from God and impacts all generations coming after them? Everyone sees the falling away. It's not hard to see. 1 Peter 1:3 says, knowing this, first of all, that scoffers will come in the last days with scoffing, following their own sinful desires. They'll come in the last days. But all throughout Scripture, God says this. One generation is responsible for making sure the next generation understands God. 2008, at the Beijing Olympics, Darvis Patton Tyson Gay ran the men's 4x100 meter race for the United States of America. We have a picture of that. They went through